Our task is to write the truth table of the logical statement, the disjunction of P and Q and P or Q. I just used here the idea of disjunction as part of reading this statement, but basically we know that the main operation here is disjunction or the OR statement. But our statements here are also different forms of logical statement, so we need to look into them step by step. To come up with a truth table, we know the number of rows is indicated by 2 to the power of n, where n would be the number of statements. We only have here P and Q. This would mean we have here 2 squared, or equivalent to 4 rows. So let us have here our 4 rows excluding the header. The header, let's start with P and Q and then come up here again with 4 rows for both columns. So we have here 1, 2, 3, and let's say here 4. If you would like to, you can also enclose this with another row, but this is actually not the same as or not included with the 4 rows previously identified. To start, let's try to place here the truth tables or the truth values for P and Q statements. For our P column, let's have here true and true, followed with false and false. For our Q, and to come up with the complete pairs of combination, we have here true, false, and then true, false. You can see that the pairs of P and Q are actually different from one another. So we have here true and true, true and false, false and true, and both false. Now, to identify the truth table of the assigned logical statement, let's start first with the first statement here, which is actually P and Q. Let's come up with a column for that. Let me redo this Q to make it better. Okay, so let's have a column for that and assign the the truth table for this logical statement. This again, we know that to be this conjunction. Okay, that's the statement for conjunction, and we already know the truth table for a conjunction. We need to actually have both statements to be true in order for us to say that the conjunction is also true. I'm talking here about the statement of the first row, true and true, so basically your conjunction is also true. However, for the rest of the rows, since it contains one or more false truth values, automatically the conjunction would be false, false, and false. That's the truth table for our conjunction. Okay, it is only true if both statements are true. Now, let's look at the second statement. It's actually P or Q. This is disjunction, and we are going to add here another column for that to identify the truth values for the statement P or Q. Now, P or Q means that we may only pick one of the two statements or both. So for it to be true, we need at least one true statement, okay, for our disjunction to be true. I'm talking here about the first statement. Since they are both true, so this is also true. For the second statement here, true or false, since one of them is true, automatically your disjunction is also true. Similar here, false or true, this is true. But when we have false or false, automatically the disjunction would also be false. Okay, that is a truth table for disjunction. Now, let's have the final column, as this would actually target the logical statement assigned. We have here the disjunction of P and Q and P or let's say or P or Q. Okay, that is actually the original logical statement assigned. So when you look into this one here, the main main operation is disjunction, and what we're going to use here would be these two columns now. We will no longer be using the first two columns because these two columns here, the third and the fourth one, already tells us the assigned truth values for both statements here for the final and the main disjunction operation. So again, it's a disjunction. We just need one statement to be true for the entire disjunction to be true. So since these both statements are true, this is true. One of the statements is true, so automatically that's true. Similar here, that's also true. And finally, for our last, since both of them are false, we have here the disjunction to be false. This is the truth table for the logical statement, the disjunction of P and Q, or P or Q. Don't forget to like and share our videos, leave a comment, and reasonably subscribe to our channel.